Good, happy Sunday morning. I'm Riley King, and welcome to Politics right here on the Riley King Network. Let's get started. Election will bring new faces to state senate. This election cycle has been marked by a push toward change, and that's true in New Hampshire Senate. Water contamination crisis leads to new political changes. Counter changes. The water contamination crisis that has touched residents of 6 New Hampshire communities is now turning into political football. Good sport wealthy donor raising money for AOT. Republican venture capitalist and high-powered attorney Mel Igler will co-host 2 fundraisers for Senator Kelly Ayotte, according to a published report. Attorney General joins investigation of former state rep. The state Attorney General's office has joined the investigation of a former state representative facing several criminal charges. NEA New Hampshire president, retired Manchester educator Scott McGillivray, running for state senate. Retired Manchester educator and current teacher union president Scott McGillivray will announce his candidacy as Democrat for Open District 16 State Senate later Thursday. Sununu's first video stresses optimism need for change in Concord. Republican candidate for governor Chris Sununu calls himself an optimism with a hopeful, positive outlook for the state in his first campaign video. Possible customer list of former state rep accused of selling drugs sparks rumors. Spectacle is swirling in Concord about the possible extent of a list of customers that might have been kept by a former state representative accused of selling drugs. Second District congressional candidate Flang hers veteran operatory wisely as top strategist. Republican 2nd District U.S. House candidate Jack Flang of Brookline says his campaign will be taking a new direction with his hiring a full-time consul who is well known to the GOP Granite State activist. Sanders. Voters see Clinton as the lesser of 2 evils. American voters should not be forced to pick between the lesser of 2 evils this November, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders says. And we have, we're going to be having Senator Sanders come on later on in our broadcast. Homeland Security Chief hits Trump Muslim ban. Homeland Security Chief Secretary Jane Johnson on Sunday hit prospective Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump for his proposal to temporarily ban Muslims from entering the United States. Clinton previews her general election attacks. Previewing her general election line of attack, Hillary Clinton is lambasting Donald Trump as dangerous and unqualified to be president. Mark Cuban, I'd consider a future White House bid. Mark Cuban, the billionaire owner of Dallas Mavericks, who rebuffed polls from conspective to run for president, says he's open to running in the future. Sanders backs DNC chair's primary opponent. Bernie Sanders cranked up his curse against the Democratic establishment Saturday, declaring that he is supporting Democratic National Committee Chairwoman Debbie Weiser-Salt's primary election challenger. Egypt air crash investigation could take a long time. Egyptian president promises to make findings public as soon as they are available. Progressive blogger fired for calling Hillary Clinton ally a scumbag. A progressive blogger was fired Friday for referring to Hillary Clinton ally as a scumbag, igniting a fiery social media exchange between the two and other high-profile writers who are at odds over the campaign of Democratic presidential nominee. Obama's apology complex. 7 years after kicking off his presidency with famous outreach to the Arab Wood speech in Cairo, skipping Islam, Barack Obama is about to bookend it with one of his last big trips on Air Force One, landing first here in Vietnam and then on to Kashmir. And let's go to our guest who is standing by now. And we have Bernie Sanders standing by. Good morning, Bernie Sanders, and thank you for joining us here on Politics, right here on the Riley King Network. Okay, we have a question for you, Bernie Sanders, so let's get started. My question is, if that's how you would describe a possible matchup between Democratic president frontrunner Hillary Clinton and prospective Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, how would you, not making a characterization of them and things? Could you tell us about that? Okay, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Bernie Sanders, for coming by to the Riley King Network for our Sunday political show called Politics right here on the Riley King Network. And that does it for Politics right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday. Goodbye, everyone.